All right, so I started doing yoga in 1995. I started doing some sun salutes with a friend. I was in AmeriCorps, and I got a chance to practice it with him, and I really fell in love with it. I remember crying during Shavasana and just having profound spiritual experiences of such healing in my body that I had never felt. My lifestyle back then included a lot of drinking and drugs, and so what I found is that didn't really work out too well with yoga. Trying to go to yoga class hungover, sweating, shaking, it was really difficult, but I really wanted to do the yoga. So I was at a point in my life where I had to basically choose, am I going to do this, or am I going to continue with my lifestyle, which at that point wasn't that fulfilling. And I was starting to see and wake up to the point how unhappy I was. But I noticed in my neighborhood at the time, which was the Tenderloin, I lived basically on Post and Hyde. I found a lot of people outside my doorway doing crack in the morning. And I just started thinking, where are they going to get exposed to yoga? And I would just put my mat out on a corner and I would say, hey, you want to do some yoga? And I essentially invited people that were dealing drugs to put that aside for a second and come and do yoga. I got, people that were just passing by that thought it was the most insane thing to do, but then they would get convinced that it looked like it was fun and join in. And while I was teaching it, I would get all these other people to watch, and then they would get influenced by what was happening, and the whole town, the whole little corner would start to kind of light up, and you'd see them change. You'd see all the people get happier and relaxed and laugh, and then say, hey, I want to try that. Oh, look, you're doing that. And it just, I noticed that it had a ripple effect, not only to the person who was practicing the yoga, but on all the people that were also observing. I started to get asked to volunteer other places, and I started to realize, wow, there's really a need for this in Sacramento, and I can't volunteer at all these places and also support myself. So I designed the Asha Outreach Program, a program where we bring yoga to specific populations in need. And it's a program that's put on by the Asha Yoga Studio in Sacramento, and we did a training. So I led the training, and I trained basically people how to teach vulnerable populations. It was a specialized training so people could improve their skills as a teacher if they were already yoga teachers and then bring it to these populations, or if they had never taught before but wanted to teach, they could learn how to teach the population they felt the most moved to teach. We've reached low-income families, the LGBTQ community, people with mental illness, survivors of abuse, and people living with AIDS, and also HIV prevention groups.
She's truly an inspiration to people who believe that yoga should be accessible to everyone. Tamara really lives and breathes it. And not just is she out in the community working directly with populations that otherwise wouldn't have access to yoga, but she's doing another really special thing, and she's helping empower other people like myself and helping us, she's teaching us to teach others so that we too can go out into the community and spread yoga to people who, like I said, otherwise wouldn't have access to it.
Somebody from my point of view, struggling, dealing with everyday issues, not in the best place right now financially, it makes all that, I can cope with it. And it's not so, hard, I guess. It's just really helped. It's just one of my biggest coping tools right now. And I love yoga.
And it helped me to see there was another way to live, and then to actually have something to do, tangibly, physically, something to practice, other than practicing all these unhealthy lifestyles, which were, that just weren't sustainable.
And yoga can really be a tool in anyone's life, but especially for a population that's really dealing with hard struggles in life, can be a sanctuary for them, a way for them to find stillness in their lives. It's amazing to see them come into the classroom with everything going on in their lives, and at the end of the class, leaving with the most peaceful, enriched look on their faces.
Have you ever tried yoga? Have you ever been to yoga and, talk to everybody about yoga? Because I'm just ecstatic about it. I think everybody should do yoga.